SP excludes possibility of early elections as the DP holds meetings with ambassadors to discuss the implementation of electoral reform coming March 15th. 2 ministers and 3 mayors are being investigated while the DP headquarters charged senior officials with 5 offenses. Paskuchan residents are out in protest over poor road conditions and corruption with public tenders. Residents now say they will continue to protest if their demands are not met. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 1st of February 2020. Good evening and thank you for tuning into the English edition of Ora News. My name is Oliver, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news, translated into English. SP excludes possibility of early elections as the DP holds meetings with ambassadors to discuss the implementation of electoral reform coming March 15th. The U.S. ambassador, Yuri Kim, was present today at the Justice Reform event organized by the Justice Ministry. In her remarks, Kim said that in her meetings with top government officials in the country, she has mentioned the topic of reform in the judiciary. Ambassador Kim also said that the work is being done to gain public confidence so as to bolster integrity and impartiality in the system. During the 9 days I have been here, I have met many people, starting with the President of the Republic, the President of the Assembly, and the Prime Minister, and with a large number of ministers, including Minister Jonai. In fact, I had the honor of meeting you. I have insisted on the importance of justice reform and the onslaught it will give to corruption. I thank the minister who gathered us to talk about the important direction we need to follow in justice reform. I thank Ambassador Sureka for his warm speech and for his words on justice reform. We stand side by side. Whether we are German, Albanian, American, we are public servants, and we are here to mark the cause of justice for all. We are working to ensure public confidence that we will do our jobs with integrity and impartiality. In English, we have a weighty saying, "We serve justice." If you look at the roots of the phrase, it means an issue that the legal system gives fair treatment. Ambassador Kim also reiterated that the U.S. is on Albania's side in these moments when justice reform needs to be implemented. Sureka was right. You hold the hope of the Albanian people in your hands. On Monday, I stated that the United States was at Albania's critical juncture. This is the moment when you are trying to implement justice reform in justice. And I want to tell you that we are always with you. When I look at this hall with the prominent people in the field of justice, I think of Skanderbeg and George Washington. I believe that the spirit of Skanderbeg and George Washington is here. I believe both the spirit of Skanderbeg and Washington are alive here. And in that spirit, it is important to carry the spirit of courage, kindness, and justice for all. The Socialist Party, through the chairman of the parliamentary group, Talam Bala, has made a clarification about the statements made by opposition leader Luzim Basha about early elections. 2 days ago, DP leader Basha had a meeting with ambassadors to discuss the implementation of electoral reform leading up to March 15th. The Democrat also said that after the adoption of this reform, the opposition expects early elections. But according to Bala, the dialogue has already begun on electoral reform, and everything else outside of this framework is not on the table. Regarding ideas outside of this framework, the DP leader can discuss and confirm outside of Parliament with his alliance, but not with the Socialist Party. Meanwhile, remind Luzim Basha that the Electoral Code is approved with 84 votes that the Socialist Party does not have. He therefore does his best not to insult and offend MPs in the Assembly with his signature and the predecessor of Monica Kriemadi. But tomorrow their votes will also need to support and confirm the results of the dialogue we are conducting, and it would be best if Luzim Basha does not provoke them to the detriment of reform. Furthermore, in a status on Facebook, Bala explains that he gave the answer because the Prime Minister is engaged in the reconstruction. He also recalls that the dialogue with the DP representatives were unanimously entrusted to Damian Jiknouri. I clarify that I gave this answer because Prime Minister Rama is fully engaged with reconstruction and other major engagements as Prime Minister and as President of the OSCE during 2020. Therefore, not even a minute can be lost on the issues related to cooperation or party interactions. This is true now and for all the times when the party will react politically to the DP or Luzim Basha regarding the electoral reform, while the dialogue with the DP representatives is unanimously entrusted to our representative, Damian Jiknouri. The Special Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office has registered a DP report on the aftermath of the November 26th earthquake. Ora News has learned that the lottery has been cast as prosecutors have been appointed who is assessing whether there are elements of the offense and whether Spock is competent to investigate this report. The DP has demanded the opening of investigations for two ministers, Sandor Leshai and Bessa Shahini, as well as for mayors Ariane Villiers, Artur Bushi, Valbona Sacco, and former Durrës Mayor Vanjush Dako. The Democratic Party headquarters charged senior officials with 5 offenses: abuse of power, murder by negligence in aggravating circumstances, violation of equality of participants in tenders or public auctions, passive corruption of persons exercising public office, and passive corruption of public officials, that being state or locally elected officials. According to the DP, the criminals act in question is the negligence of the mayor of Croya and other public officials who have allowed the inhabitants of the 2 apartment buildings in Thumana to live in them even after being declared uninhabitable. The same responsibility is evidenced for the death of Chief Commissioner Bayram Haydarmetai in the convalescence building in Durrës, which was declared uninhabitable after the 9/11 earthquake, but the Interior Ministry had taken no action to stop it. The criminal report filed with Spock lists all cases of damage to public education infrastructure that has been built or reconstructed in recent years, but were destroyed as a result of the earthquake. But an investigation into the aftermath of the earthquake has also been launched by 3 prosecutors, and if violations are reported to senior officials, then they automatically pass on to all 3 to Spock. And finally tonight, almost every day, the mayor of Tirana, Ariane Villiers, is seen planting trees or inaugurating streets in the capital, but beyond the facade he displays, the reality is quite different. Ora News reporter Sonila Musai has been with Paskuchan residents today who say the new Ibrahim Rugova Street is being built outside of the rules set on standards and outside of the project. Directly to Ora News, residents said the corruption was being fought with public tenders and that the road had narrowed a few meters. This road is unpaved. There is corruption in public tenders. The road should be 5 meters and there should be 2 meters of pavement. Look, there is not even 50 centimeters. The company has also damaged the sewage network by mixing it up. Look, they've added just one layer of pavement. While we have made demands despite the lack of respect, we have come out in protest. The firm has not implemented the project, it has narrowed the size. These are stolen through tenders. They are stealing through deviations and lack of standards. Meanwhile, another resident said that whenever it rains, children do not go to school. He also added that the company building the road is mixing the community's water supply with sewage. There is no added gravel provided by the state, even though we pay all the taxes. When it rains, children don't go to school. There is no standard of any kind, not even with the sewage canals. They have narrowed it down, stolen it. The road is to be done, but not narrowed by preferences. Implement the project side by side, not with a friend. It's not about parties. We will stay for another 30 years without roads, or we will do it ourselves, but not steal. We pay the taxes. We do not comply with our requirements. We do not want the road at all. We will do it ourselves, said one resident. Another resident added that other residents have been to the municipality several times, but have found no solutions. The sewage is covered with stones, not sand. We have been to the municipality to complain, but have found no solution. We call on the firm and the municipality to help us make a long-term road and not one that crumbles after a year. About 1,000 residents of this neighborhood in Paskuchan said that if their demands are not respected, they will continue with their protests. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you so much for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Ora News, thank you and have a great weekend.